Today, we're gonna take this garbage disposal and put it in that sink. Stay tuned. All right, this is what most garbage disposals come with. I say most just because every model is a little different. You have your basic unit here. This is 3/4 horsepower. It's not top of the line, but it's not bottom of the line. It's kind of like, I would put it like upper mid. Yeah, has all your impalers inside. You know, that's what the inside looks like. And basically a lot of water rushes through impales. Depending on how many cycles, you're good to go. This one actually, cool enough, came with a plug. Sometimes you have to attach a plug. Buy the plug and attach it yourself and wire it yourself. But this one comes with a plug, which is actually pretty great. This is basically what holds it to the sink. So this will sit in your old sink. Cast iron or the plastic or the metal part of your sink will basically be wedged in between here, so you actually can unloosen it. You slide it right on, it hangs from the sink essentially, and then you plug it into your outlet, and your outlet's either switched, so you can turn it on with a switch on the top, or sometimes they make little buttons you can push too, that they'll sit on the sink top and put the button, and the button's actually is a switched outlet too. Those are good for like retrofits, which I'll probably do here. Otherwise, I'm drilling into cabinets and running lines and busting out tile and all that kind of stuff. So that's basically the setup. It also comes with a strainer that'll sit in the middle, like I'm here, so you know you don't drop things, stick your fingers on there. Never stick your finger down a garbage disposal without unplugging it first. This is a stopper that'll sit up top in case you ever want to plug it. And then this is the little adapter that goes here. We have two ports here. This port you keep closed if you have a dishwasher. If you don't have a dishwasher, we have a dishwasher, so we'll be attaching the dishwasher to this part. And then this part is where this attaches with this clamp attachment piece. And that basically is where it goes to your J-trap. Water runs through here, you know, you impale it, and then it spits out here, and it drains into your J like a normal drain would drain. And then this part, your dishwasher, you know, water will basically come out through your dishwasher, which is usually the cabinet next to your sink, comes in there. Well, in my case, it comes through the bottom of the cabinet, but sometimes you see it come up through the cabinet, so it makes a giant arc like this. Basically, that's just to prevent backflow. So if your dishwasher does come through the cabinet like this, it's probably not a bad idea to run your line up and make a nice little arc, just so there's, you know, it's tougher for water to backflow into your dishwasher. So you either backflow it on the front by doing the pass through like this, or you backflow it, you know, on the cabinet side before you push it through the hole, or on the cabinet, on the inner cabinet side after you push it through the hole. It just depends on how much space you have on the back behind your dishwasher. But this is essentially what it is. It's pretty easy to kind of put it all together and hook it up. They used to not come with plugs, and you used to have to wire the plugs. Sometimes they don't come with kits. It's kind of a mess. Like you might get a real cheap garbage disposal, like, oh cool, but then you have to buy all the accessories to put on there, and it's cost the same price as, like, you know, the mid-level garbage disposal in general too. So depending on what you do, we had a really basic level garbage disposal in our old house, and my wife, I want to say it was the day before we were having a Christmas party, she ran a ton of asparagus through it, which is a no-no. You can't run asparagus through a not super heavy-duty garbage disposal, and we actually had to call the plumbers to come out and stake the lines, which was fun. The other thing that's really important, instruction manual. Don't be one of those people who doesn't read instruction manuals, especially if you've never installed these before. Flip through it, get a general idea, watch a YouTube tutorial or two, just kind of like generally associate yourself. This stuff is not difficult, but at the same time, you can easily miss a step if you're not paying attention to what you're doing. Like, for example, in my explanation, I didn't explain you put plumber's putty around this too, so we're gonna get some plumber's putty in this too. So that's what we got to do. Now that I have everything apart, and I've actually seen what I need, I'm going to need another J-trap, mainly because I'm not going to use one of those old J-traps. Those are crappy, they stink and or whatever. J-traps are cheap enough that you can just buy a new set and be done with it. Don't worry about other stuff. The main thing to remember is kind of keep it clean. Clean up as much as you possibly can from your old setup. The old setup I had over there on the sink was caulked to oblivion. So I just spent the last 20 minutes scraping caulk off of it and trying to get everything kind of like back down to the cast iron or the sink, so this will seat properly and all that kind of good stuff. So yeah, so this. It's basically all the remnants of the old one. All right, so I just went to the hardware store, picked up P-trap, like I said I was going to. $5, not worth your time recycling another one, mainly because those other ones are usually full of slime and crap. I also decided I did go for the sync button push, which basically has an on-off electronic actuator. I guess it's a switch actuator, whatever the hell you want to call it. Did that mainly for convenience, because otherwise I'm like digging into walls more than I need to run the power for this thing. It is an expensive switch. It's like $100, $104, something like $105, something like that, which is expensive, but I'm paying for convenience. And I'm paying for my time to not be able to not have to dig into the wall to run the power for it. So that is worth it to me. If it's not worth it to you, put a switch on an outlet and dig into your walls and behind your cabinets, but it's worth it to me. So if I had power already down there, obviously it's a different story, but I'm retrofitting this into an older house that was not initially designed or planned for when they did a kitchen renovation for it. So now we're back to the house to actually install everything. Squeezes that all out. All right, time to test for some leaks here. All right, I see no signs of leaks. I feel it, I feel the water. Okay, so this is gonna allow me to not have to go digging fully into my walls to run a line, to run a switched outlet. Basically, this will sit right on the top, where currently I have a bottle rinser that I don't use that often. So I'm gonna actually swap this out for the bottle rinser and put it in there and basically hit the button and it turns on the switched outlet. Switched outlet then fires off the garbage disposal. And then when you're done, you take your finger off it and you're good to go. So this is gonna be air pressure. It's gonna run you up to here. So basically the air pressure is gonna do the switch for you. And then this will just plug into the outlet, and then you basically plug this into the outlet underneath your sink, which I'm currently running. I'm gonna grab some from downstairs because I'm on the first floor when I'm installing this. So I can literally just run down through the hole and grab the power off of that, and then this will plug into the switch. Very cool, very, very cool. All right, that's what we're doing. And then I'm going to drop a power spot right about here so I can plug that into the power. there's a lot of holes down here from the first floor, from the basement to the first floor. And actually, as you can see, that valve right there is leaking again. So we'll probably replace that valve while I'm under here. That's the valve that gives power. I'm sorry, valve right here gives water a line to the dishwasher. I'm going to drop power right about here. And as you can see, when they installed this, they drilled a couple holes. And I can see these holes right where this is at from the basement. So I'll just drill up into this cavity over here and pull the power up into there and put an outlet there so it's not on the ground. I mean not on the bottom of the cabinet. I don't want the power supply sitting on the bottom of this cabinet, mainly because if we ever spill, it'll run over there and leak and short and it'll be nuts. So just take that off a little bit. But these cabinets are old. I have no problem putting holes in any of these cabinets. And just pull out a little further to give you an idea of how this is all setting up. This back here is all dead space basically because I have a lot of tubes and hose water lines. So I'm trying to bury all the controls back there. So that way this part of the cabinet can be used for, you know, the storage that we have for things you put under a cabinet, you know, cleaning supplies and all that kind of stuff. And so this will all stay same. So I'm trying to compact stuff as much. You don't need it to get to it that often. This is literally plugs. You plug stuff in, you unplug stuff out. So it's not like you need to like really get to it to service it too much. So I'm trying to be cognizant of just basically using the space that I have effectively. But right here, as you can see, my dishwasher, the dishwasher has power and also has water. So I could even probably grab power off the dishwasher, put it over to a box here because there's a couple of lines run up. I'm going to try to not put another hole into the floor. So it might take some trickiness, but if I have to, I have to. Like I said, as you can see, underneath this leaking, there's the previous, whoever installed these cabinets, you know, decades ago, was clearly off point with their drilling. But I will say, right about here, there's a beam. So they probably, rather than running the water line through another beam to run it up here, they're like, ah, screw it, we'll move it over one more here. So it makes sense. I'd rather them not drill through the beam as well. So, you know, for structural support reasons. But as I'm telling you this, I'm watching this drip slowly here. It's aggravating the crap out of me. So this valve right here is just going to need to be replaced. It's just that these valves are kind of garbage. They're just like dumb plastic valves, and you get a little bit of like, I have hard water from my well, and because I have hard water from the well, you get a lot of this, they call it efflorescence. You know, it's lime deposits, calcium deposits. They call it efflorescence on brick. I don't know if they call it that on pipes. And you know, sometimes if you just turn a valve off just to do some repairs, the valve's been so crusted and used to being in one position that you uncrust it, and this is what you have. So I mean, these valves aren't that terribly expensive. I can go to like Home Depot and get a valve, unscrew that, just clean it up, put some more Teflon tape on there and reattach it. It's not that big a deal. I actually like replacing valves when I do this type of work, just because you know you're putting in good valves. Like, you know, you got a valve like this. These are all plastic valves. They make brass valves. They make actual, I like the ball valves that you like turn. It's like one handle. So I like replacing things with those. They're a little bit more expensive, but I like them better. I also tend to, you get yourself some waterproof grease and you drop it into those valves, and it makes it easier to turn on and off when you do that, so it doesn't get as like gunky in there, and it kind of like just preserves the life of the valve a little bit longer. But who knows how long these valves are, how old these valves are. Who knows how old this kitchen is. This kitchen's got to be at least 20 years old. So they've been sitting here for 20 years, these valves. So but I'm slowly but surely replacing parts of it. But yeah, so I'm going to now run power. Got off a little tangent there, but I'm now going to run power so we can plug this box in, which is plugged into the garbage disposal. And there's the finished power supply running into this incinerator. I will say this, there's these little screws right here on the incinerator that look like they're missing. Plastic screws. I gotta find out what the heck's going on with those, because they look like they can just kind of pop off at any given moment, but I gotta look and see if they're missing and order them. It definitely doesn't look like it was open, so I don't know if they were mailed wrong or what, but there it is. You know. Yeah, and I just zip tied the power cord up there just to keep it out of the way. This is a water line. It's not moving anyway. It's not like I zip tied it to like the movement, but yeah, there's your cutoff. There's the power. I was able to kind of pull it right from underneath, put it in there. I put it in a plastic box, plastic everything. That's a GFCI, just in case the moisture gets to it. Just, you know, there's code about having those anywhere within a certain distance from water, and this is obviously close enough to water that I should have put it on there, so I did. And there you go, that's it, done.